ending to this discussion group was started in 1954. So at that time we had only 5 members, committee members. For nearly 1 year, I think, 5 or 7, maximum 7, so they were not used to this kind of discussion. We talk more and practice less. So we have already completed Satioatthana Sutta. During the novitiate program, Reverend Mahinda has completed the last item under Dhammananda, mental objects, last Friday. That was the last item. So the whole sutra has been categorized or divided into 4 groups. So can you remember the Pali names? Yeah. Let us revise and summarize. Kayanupassana, Vedananupassana, Chittanupassana, Dhammanupassana. These are the 4. Meanings: Kayanupassana. Yeah? You cannot keep quiet today. What is Kayanupassana? There are 2 words there. Kaya and Anupassana. Kayanupassana. Concentration on Kaya. What is Kaya? Kaya means body. Our own body or any kind of bodies, not only human bodies. Now how to concentrate? So what are the methods introduced by the Buddha for us to concentrate? 14 methods to concentrate on our physical body. Then, next one, Vedananupassana. What does it mean? Feeling. So how to concentrate on feeling? Pleasant, unpleasant, neutral. Now how to concentrate on neutral feeling? So when you feel that you are not experiencing any pleasant feeling or unpleasant feeling, that is called neutral feeling. In between pleasant and unpleasant. Neutral. So we have to concentrate on that also. We are used to concentrate only on our pleasant or unpleasant feeling. But when we are neutral, we just ignore it. What is the third one? Chittanupassana. Meaning, concentrate on our mind. Uh, then who is going to concentrate on our mind? Whose mind is going to concentrate? Now I am going to concentrate on my mind. Then have I got two minds? One mind to keep quiet, another mind to think? What is the answer? I think we have to change our style of this Friday talk into some sort of workshop. Otherwise, forever you keep quiet like this. It is not that you cannot remember, you know it, but just keep quiet. Yes, what is the answer? First we have to define the mind. Then you can answer. What is mind? Never mind. That's all right. Then no problem. No problem at all. The whole trouble here in this world that people cannot maintain that never mind attitude. For everything, if we can say never mind, then there won't be any problem. So still you can give me the answer. Yes, now I told you we have to define the mind. How to define? Definitions of our mind mean try to understand how many mental faculties are there in the same mind. That is called definition. How many mental faculties are there? What are those? How many? 7? No, we have got so many. 4. So what are those 4? Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana. These are the 4. Meaning? So when we experience some sort of feeling, good or bad or neutral, at that time we use only one mental faculty there. Alright. Then the next one, Sanya. What is Sanya? Perception. What is perception? We perceive certain thing. What does it mean? That's right. We recognize, identify, understand, but not really, not in proper perspective, just outlook, superficial value. Later we have to study how to analyze. But before that, for conventional usage, we recognize. Recognize means this is a man, and this is a woman. That is called perception. This is a drinkable liquid. That is recognition. This is a mic for me to talk. Recognition. It's one mental faculty. Then we had to develop this further and further and further to understand what is right, what is wrong, what is harmful, what is useful. Then we had to analyze millions of items for us to recognize. Still, we do not realize in proper perspective. That means the reality. That is another mental faculty. Third one, sankhara. I think more than 1,000 times I have explained this word. If you can listen to some old record, tape, you can see at least 100 times here for the last few years. What is sankhara? English word? Mental? I think you are still in Christmas mood. No concentration today. Mental, there are so many words. Even then you cannot understand the real meaning of this word. Yes, mental formation, one word. Another one, mental tendency. Another word, mental concomitant. Another word, mental activity. Another word, simple word, you can understand this word. Mental habits, tendency and habits. Easy for you to understand. This very word can prove the reality, the real significance or the Buddhist attitude when you analyze. Because they are living examples, not belief. To understand what the Buddha had taught is true, this very word. Because this information or realization or explanation you cannot find in any other religions or not even in modern psychology. Those who try to understand the nature of human mind, they have done a lot of experiments, studies, realized only little bit, but not fully. But this word, this mental tendency, among psychologists there are two groups now. The latest development of psychology is the parapsychologists. They have gone further to understand certain things which psychologists have not explained earlier. That means they deal with subconscious mind, unconscious mind. Do you know how many stages are there when you analyze this consciousness? How many kinds of consciousness are there? We do not know the nature of our own mind. Normal consciousness, semi-consciousness, subconsciousness, unconsciousness. See how many stages are there? Same mind. Then, the subconsciousness is a very important issue for modern psychologists. They have learned many things from Buddhist texts, especially a well-known psychologist, Swiss psychologist, Carl Jung. Later, there was another well-known psychologist, William James. They have developed further. And Carl Jung's name is very famous among the psychologists and who study psychology. He is the one who made this statement. He says, when we compare our knowledge about mind according to our psychology, actually compare with what? Compare with Buddhist psychology. He says, when you compare our modern psychology with the Buddhist psychology, we feel still we are in infancy stage, our knowledge. Here you can understand how advanced the Buddha's interpretation of the mind, the nature of the mind, activities of the mind, how to develop the mind, how to control the mind, how to purify the mind. Direct approach towards our own mind. But all the other religions, advanced people, divert their mind towards somebody else. We can see the vast difference. Concentrate, pray and worship and think somebody else, somewhere else. The Buddha's advice is, by concentrating and studying, observing all the external energies or matters or elements or powers, developments never take place in the mind. You may gain so many other things, because by keeping all the rubbish, dirt, in our mind, we focus this mind toward that polluted mind, toward somewhere else, to gain some power or protection, precaution, this and that. But there is no purity in our own mind. People cannot understand this. That is why the Buddha always advised us to introspect. That means awareness of the mental activities. We never concentrate, never think to understand the nature of thoughts and ideas and intentions and purpose of all our mental activities. We never concentrate. That is why naturally we developed certain evil forces in our mind. Because we never think that these things are the main causes to disturb our own mind, our own life, as well as to disturb others and disturb the whole world. The things that come out from our mind disturb the whole world. So we always think all these problems and troubles come from outside. So the main purpose of this religion is for us to understand the nature of our own mind. So we can use any name for that, whether meditation or concentration or contemplation or studies, to understand. There is no controversy whatsoever. All are experiencing very unpleasant situation today. Not only today, always in this world, because of human mind. Human mind is responsible for all these things. To guard ourselves, to protect ourselves, we always blame some others. That is our weakness. Either God or devils or ghosts or this or that or planets. But if the mind is properly guarded, all the other external energies and forces become powerless. When we radiate all our evil forces, every second we are radiating certain evil forces, mental energies from our mind. Then pollute our own mind, disturb others, disturb other living beings, disturb other living things, disturb the environment and the whole universe. By realizing this, the Buddha used only 2-3 words, but we cannot understand. What did he say? Chittena niyati loko. Only 3 words there. The whole world is led by the mind. Chittena niyati loko. That means movement, changes, pleasant, unpleasant, or favorable or unfavorable situation, calamities, disaster, all these things take place due to human mental energy. To understand this, we had to study for a long period. Otherwise, we cannot understand the real meaning of this thing. Because our measurement, our judgment, our analysis of the world is wrong. When we use the word world, we think something else. So if you can understand how the world exists and how this world does not mean this globe. And how changes take place, how declining take place, how development take place, and who is responsible for this? Of course, it's very easy for us to say, God is responsible for everything. Then there is nothing to argue, nothing to study. Just believe, finish. The Buddha could not satisfy with this, because this belief was there at that time. That is why he wanted to find out the real cause. What is wrong with this world? So by realizing this, he explained the world is led by the mind. Well, to us it is Greek. How can we then? Because we do not know the nature of the mind. We do not know the nature of the world. I can give you a very simple example for you to understand this. For this kind of thing. Last time when I visited Sri Lanka, somebody asked this question after my talk, because those days there were so many news items in the newspaper. At that time, the Americans have landed on the moon. And people are still arguing. They say, how can be that? It is impossible. Man cannot reach the moon. These people just take some photos from here and there and advertise in the newspapers that they have landed on the moon. So people are arguing. Some people say yes, some others say no, we never believe. Impossible. So after my talk, somebody asked this question, whether it is true or not. as if that I know how to land on the moon. Then, by knowing their mentality, their education, their understanding, then I ask, what do you think about that? Possible or not? Then that man says, no, I never believe that man can land on the moon. Then I said, you are right. People got a shock. Why I said like this? Those who believe that man has landed on the moon. So that man was very happy when I said he is right. Then, do you know why you are right? First thing, you do not know anything about the moon. When you look at the space, you can see there is something that is called moon. And you might have heard all sorts of cock and bull stories from your grandfathers and grandmothers about the moon. Otherwise, you do not know anything about the moon. Second thing, you do not know how to make that rocket to go to the moon. How to make it. And you also do not know how to handle, manipulate this machine to reach the moon. So, not knowing all these things, how can you believe that man can land on the moon? Therefore, you are right. So, am I right or wrong? So, in the same way, so when we consider your knowledge about your mind, your knowledge about the world, it is impossible for you to believe that the world is led by the mind. Exactly the same. If you really want to know, then you have to study the nature of the mind. How powerful, energetic this mind is. And what this world is. And who created have not automatically come into existence. But still you cannot decide. Because your concept about the world is wrong. Even scientists also could not understand completely. There are many dark areas where scientists also cannot understand. The Buddha is known as Loka Vidu. Do you know the meaning of this word? What does it mean? Loka Vidu. One who knows, or the knower of the world. The one of the, of course, these are titles given to him by us. Because he has given some new information according to his discovery. But this discovery does not depend on his research work or experiment. what he realized through his enlightenment, no research work there. All the others have given their interpretations or explanations through their experiments. There's a vast difference between enlightenment and experiments. Now scientists have discovered so many things and stopped. At that time they thought this is the final analysis, final answer. Later, many other scientists realized they have not discovered everything. Then they have discovered further and further, and they too had to stop. Still they have not discovered the final answer. This is the nature of experiments. At the beginning, when they discovered atomic energy, they could not give the clear explanation, although they discovered this energy. Later, they realized there are so many other kind of energies there. And some other scientists believe that there are so many unknown energies there. This is the nature of experiment. The Buddha's analysis or explanation about the world or the universe and the life or matters or energies only through his enlightenment. And what is the enlightenment? Because you do not know what this enlightenment is. Usually people think the Buddha is an intelligent man, that's all. Very wise man. He can understand many things better than others. That's all. If not, he is a holy man, very pure. What else? Some others may think, oh, he got a wonderful power. That is why they have created another Buddha later as healing Buddha. The Buddha who can cure, he got a wonderful power, he can cure anything. It is a misinterpretation of the word used by the Buddhist. The Buddha can cure all the others' sickness, but he could not cure his own sicknesses. He had to suffer for more than 12 kinds of sicknesses. This is the way how we measure. People think holy people never suffer from sicknesses because they are so holy. Alright. Now, the Pope who died many years ago, supposed to be the representative of God on this earth, then he had cancer and died because of that. So do you think holy people never get sicknesses? The Buddha also had to suffer. When we suffer from certain sicknesses, people come and ask, how come you are a religious man? Why do you suffer from this kind of sicknesses? They think that religious people are free from sicknesses. Old age, sicknesses, death. This is our childish way of thinking. Now still I did not explain the nature of the enlightenment of the Buddha to understand things without doing any experiment or research work. After completion, fulfilling all the duties, cultivating all the great virtues, eradicating all the evil forces from the mind, then he started to divert this mental energy to develop further and further. There was nothing for him to take from outside, either from heaven or hell or anywhere. Inner development. What is this inner development? Although he had developed all the great qualities and virtues and morals, trained his mind, not to commit evils, but his mind was not completely purified. The roots of the evil thoughts still remain in the mind. After learning, meditating, when we feel that we experience some sort of calmness in our mind, now we have courage to control the mind. That means when somebody agitated us, provoke, immediately we know how to control our anger. That is called training. Naturally, when jealousy, it is natural, everybody in this world maintain jealousy. Animals also have jealousy. When this jealousy suddenly flare up, then immediately we bring down this, knowing that this is harmful. This is called the training of the mind. Therefore we think we are very advanced now. Yes. But we do not know at any moment the environment, circumstances can change our mental attitudes. Temptation change our mental attitudes. Agitation change our mental attitude. Craving, or when selfishness appears in the mind, change our mental attitude. At that time, we have no courage to control the mind. We succumbed, we surrender. Then again, become normal. Normal means behave as usual, no development. All those who have trained their mind this little bit of sample meditation, yes, they can calm their mind. But few days time or few weeks or few months time again go back to the same. So the Buddha has developed this life after life. Finally, he wanted to try whether he can gain enlightenment or not. Then, seated under the Bodhi tree, started final touching. Whether he can gain enlightenment or not. Then, seated under the Bodhi tree, started final touching. So what did he do? Divert the mind that he has developed, cultivated, trained, purified. Because he has harnessed, accumulated the mental energies without wasting. Do you know, every day, amount of mental energies that we waste for unnecessary things, if we can harness, accumulate these energies, then the mind becomes very dynamic force, very energetic. Then only we can maintain willpower, determination. After that, easily we do not change the mind. Temptation cannot change the mind later. Irritation cannot change the mind. So, it's a big battle, most difficult task. So he has done all these things earlier. When started to concentrate, he got the enlightenment. What is this enlightenment? The remainders of the mental defilements as sediments in the mind, or little bit of dark clouds, completely removed. Now no more dark corners in his mind, no more dark clouds. Everything is clear. That is why he said, in the first sermon, Dhammacakka Sutra, Chakkhung udapadi jnanam udapadi panya udapadi vidya udapadi aloko udapadi. Now I got these 5 kinds of wisdom. Ananussutesu dhammes. Formerly, I never heard, I never experienced this. This is the first time. That is the way how he explained the nature of enlightenment. What is this? Chakkhung udapadi. the wisdom eye. Now I have wisdom eye. Formerly, I used only this eye muscle, eye consciousness. Now I can use my wisdom through my eyes. Can see everything in proper perspective now. Formerly I never knew all these things. Jnanam udapad. My knowledge, my understanding, my realization is very, very clear. There is no doubt, no controversy in my mind. Panya udapad. That is called extraordinary realization. Now we also realize, but when we analyze the nature of our realization, if not, another person who knows better than us the same thing that I realize, then I come to know that my realization is not correct. But for the time being, I maintain, I realized. Later, we change this realization, because that is not the ultimate truth. So the Buddha's realization is not like that. No further development. That is the final, ultimate. Vidya Udapadi. This is another special characteristic in his wisdom. Another extraordinary wisdom. Wisdom related, this is very important. Wisdom and holiness both work together. Some others have wisdom, but there is no purity, holiness, sacredness in their life. There are very intelligent people in this world, got wonderful wisdom. When you study their personal character, behavior, temperament, moods, attitude, you can see the difference. Vast difference, either jealousy or anger or moody moods or selfishness or temper. Many of those human weaknesses you can find in them, although they are very intelligent. Let us take a very intelligent man, supposed to be the wise man appear in the West, Bertrand Russell. His intellect is remarkable, so deep, but he is a nasty old man. The word he used to attack and criticize and condemn and accuse and ridicule, especially Christianity, because he knew only Christianity. Therefore he can criticize very easily. If he has studied Buddhism also, he knows how to condemn Buddhism. But in one place he says he respects the Buddha because he did not want to give wrong information about the beginning of the world. He says he respects the Buddha. So, that is wisdom or intellect without purity, without holiness. There are many. When you study even Socrates or Jesus, their understanding, wisdom, services are remarkable. But when you compare with the Buddha, when you read that book, Two Masters, One Message, written by a Christian priest, very unbiasedly, many people have a misunderstanding about this book. A few days ago, I met a doctor who came from Malacca, and we were talking about this book. He said, actually, I don't believe that we can compare Jesus' teaching with the Buddha's teaching. We cannot compare. This is the wrong understanding. It is not the comparison. The writer did not try to compare the Buddha's teaching and Jesus. The teachings are the same. This is an entirely different subject. He has written this book for his thesis, PhD thesis, by giving references, authenticities, history, how Christians have borrowed ideas from Buddhists to write New Testament. That is the thesis. It is not comparison. Then he has given reason. Certain miracles where in Buddhist Jataka stories, previous birth stories of the Buddha, these miracles are there. He say borrowed from this. Again, many things used by those Christians in the Middle East at that time, because such things were unknown to them at that time, such as shaving head. It was not a religious symbol to them among the Jews and others. And using these beads, they have never used this earlier. And using incense as offering. So he has given a list. He says all these things they have borrowed from Buddhism. And this is the nature of that book. But no one can argue because he has given the reason. Places where they have met in Greece, in Iran and Middle East, Indians and these people, and they have exchanged there. And when Mahayana school started to write Buddhist book, they also have learned certain things from Christian. Christian influence is there because of their exchange, views and ideas and stories. These are the historical facts. So, now I lost my track, I jumped into something else. I don't know how I got into this trouble now. What? Enlightenment, that's right. That means I am not enlightened yet, So, this Vijja Uddapadi. Now when you pay homage to Buddha every day, you Vijja Charana Sampanno Sugato, you don't know what you recite. Vijja Charana Sampanna, that is the meaning. Wisdom plus holiness, sacredness, combined together. not only holiness or purity, but wisdom also there. Not only wisdom, purity and sacredness also there. In the Buddha, you can find both. Now let us take bodhisattvas or an arahant. You cannot find these two things together. They may have wisdom, but their purity, sacredness differ in certain area. Assume purity of the mind is the same, but the enlightenment and wisdom of the Buddha is entirely different. We cannot compare to a bodhisattva or arahanta. That is why we use the word vijjācarana sampanno. Chakkhum uddapādi, jnānam uddapādi, paññā uddapādi, vijjā uddapādi, āloko uddapādi. Last word, āloka, brightness. Now brightness appeared in my mind that I never experienced before. What is this brightness? Just now I told you, when there are no more doubts, suspicion, emotion, dark cloud, ignorance in a mind, that mind is bright. But this brightness of the Buddha's mind is not only that much. Now if we can wipe out many of our doubts, our ignorance, and our suspicion, then we get some sort of clear understanding. This we can regard as brightness. But the nature of the Buddha's āloka, brightness, is not limited only for that. Because there are so many factors to enrich this wisdom that we have cultivated life after life. In our case, we have not done this earlier, maybe a little bit. That is why we are facing a lot of difficulties for us to overcome our weaknesses. Now you can understand what the Buddha said. By using this enlightenment about our mind and how we analyze this mind, others could not analyze this. Take another simple example. Even Buddhists also believe that there is something after our death. We regard this as departed soul. Soul is gone, departed. The Buddha tried to wipe out this belief, still we experience some difficulties to get rid of this because our minds are not clear yet. We believe there is something. And what is that something? That something you can understand when you analyze that mind, unless you never understand. The nature of the mind. Then the world. What is world? In Mahayana philosophy, there is one word very meaningful. It's called Vijñapti Matra in Sanskrit. Vijñapti Matra, about the world. This also we cannot understand. World is nothing but concept. Then we have to think and think and think. We create our own imaginations but cannot understand. Then we can give a simple example. After that we can develop further the meaning of this word. World is nothing but concept. The whole world. Do you know, in modern science, Albert Einstein, one of the best scientists. In fact, many people believed, and he also believed, that he had some extraordinary brain, not a normal human brain. The sharp thinking, realizations of relativity is not a joke. Nobody else, or scientists or philosophers or religious teachers have ever mentioned anything about relative terms, how these things exist. The Buddha has given this interpretation in religious language. People could not understand. That is called paticcasamuppada, dependent upon origination. One depends on the other, otherwise no existence. The Buddha has given this earlier, but people could not understand. When Albert Einstein mentioned this about the space and the time, all these are concepts. In reality, no, there is no such thing. So, the whole universe we have to analyze in relative terms. Then he says, when we analyze the whole world, living beings, or plants, or earth, or elements, or various kind of energies, we can analyze. Then we go on analyzing one after the other, up to the end. In the end, there is nothing for us to analyze. Then, is there anything to remain as world in the final analysis? He said, yes. According to his knowledge, he says, no world, no universe, no living beings, but only waves and vibration remains. The final analysis. So everybody accepts this, because this is a scientific analysis. No one can see how can we then analyze all the elements, all the energies. In the end, whether there is anything to remain. After that, there is no name for us to give. Now can you understand the meaning of this Vijñapti Matra? The world is nothing but concept, our concept. world exists because of this mind. If there is no mind, no world. And who gives all these names? Human mind. And who says this is good and this is bad? Human mind. The world means mixture of all these things. So we analyze, we create, we maintain, we destroy. And again, formation takes place. Now this is the nature of the world. Because of this attitude or the nature, again the Buddha has used 3 words. Dukkhe loko patittito. This so-called world is situated or established or formed in or on dukkha. World exists on dukkha. What is dukkha? What is the real meaning of dukkha here? Conflicts. The world exists on conflicts. If no friction or conflicts, no world, no life, nothing. So what a beautiful word the Buddha has used. So today we can explain in this way. The world is situated or based on time bomb. Any moment explosion can take place. Then what is the development of the mind? The development of the mind is to diffuse this time bomb. Can you understand? When you remove the fuse from the time bomb, explosion never takes place. So when you develop the mind, we know how to diffuse this time bomb. That is called training, developing, maintaining our mind to maintain the world without allowing this world to explode. They are experimenting all over the world now, almost every day. And you read the newspaper every day, experimenting, time bomb. Who is responsible for that? Go and pray to God and ask to stop. Unless human mind decide, realize, there won't be any change. Do you know, after the Second World War, many people from the Western countries become religious-minded, especially started to study Buddhism and Hinduism, these two religions. Having seen the suffering, human suffering. The way how they have massacred millions. You know how Hitler massacred millions, in millions, of Japanese. What sort of torture? Having seen all these things, they changed their way of thinking. Now you can understand Prince Siddhartha, when he was enjoying as a prince, wonderful man, having seen all those people suffering, sicknesses, old age, dead bodies, lamentation, crying, worrying, fighting, then started to think and think and think. It is not thinking, it is called contemplate. Contemplating, not thinking. Then realize, oh, this world is like this. Changes take. Turning points of his way of life because of these things. So in the same way, now take Francis' story, a British, when he was serving in the army in India during the Second World War. When his term was over, he decided to stay back in India, studied Buddhism. After that he has gone to Burma, studied Pali. Then he has gone to Sri Lanka. He has written so many books on Buddhism. Some books are available here. Buddhist Outlook, Dimensions of Buddhist Thoughts, and at least 50 books he has written. And President of the London Buddhist Society, Christmas Humphreys, he said he has decided to become a Buddhist when he was 12 years old, having seen a tragedy in his family. So we always change our mind when some sort of realization appear according to the environment and incidents and situation. If we know how to divert our mind towards proper direction, then we know how to reach our final goal. If not, we go mad. Supposing intolerable a tragedy take place in a family, a father or mother cannot tolerate. If they can think in this way, to understand the nature of friction, conflicts and clashes and miseries and troubles in this world, this incident is enough for them to change their mental attitudes and develop this. If not, they go mad. If not, or commit suicide. So, the more we dig, the deeper aspects of the Buddha's teaching, those who can think and understand properly can develop very unshakable confidence and conviction. Yes, it is true. Because this truth or this explanation, this analysis, we cannot find Anywhere else. That is what Western Buddhist scholars say, like Dr. Rhys David, who started the Pali Text Society 100 years ago. He says, I cannot find these items, interpretations, analyses, explanations through any other sources. That is why I like this religion. Mind that I started with Satipatthana and wanted to summarize, and I do not know what happened to me. Anyway, so we had to start something else, another series. Can you suggest what to do from next Friday onward?
All the while we are concentrating on purifying our mind and developing the mind. Now, is there anything in the scriptures or any teaching from the Buddha which touch on what happened to his mind after enlightenment? So maybe in the next series we will speculate on
what happened. The same answer. What happened to the mind means never mind. That is the answer. Well, my dear friend, we always ask this kind of question. So it clearly shows still we have not realized the meaning of the purifications of the mind. What does it mean? Purification means we exist, mind exists, consciousness exists because of our craving for existence. When we remove this craving for existence by realizing the real nature, then is there anything else for us to talk about what happened to the mind after this? So these are the trouble with us, because our inclination, our attachment, our craving, our egoistic ideas are still very, very strong. To uproot these things, we had to realize a lot. That's why people ask, where is the Buddha today? That means they have not realized the attainment of nirvana, the meaning of this word nirvana, and attainment of Buddhahood. They have not realized. If they can understand this, they cannot ask this question. Where is he today? This is the trouble with us. If we think that he is somewhere hiding behind the cloud, that means he has not attained nirvana. Okay, I think better. Right. Akasattha Bhummattha Deva Naga Mahiddhika Punyantang Anumoditta Chiram Rakkhantu Loka Sasanam Devo Asvatu Kalena Sassa Sampatti Hetu Ca Pito Bhavatu Loko Ca Raja Bhavatu Dhammiko Idam Ho Jati Nang Hotu Sukita Hontu Jatayo Idam Ho Jati Nang Hotu Sukita Hontu Jatayo Idam Ho Jati Nang Hotu Sukita Hontu Jatayo.